Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. This is your boy Simbawi Nibaye Jr., aka TK, and my man Omar Williams. We call him O. Say what's up to the peeps.
What's going on, good people?
It is another lovely Wednesday. Some of us call it Hump Day, and y'all know how we do on the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. We don't waste any time. We jump right in and get into the goods. But before we do that, we are going to do our affirmations. It is Affirmation Wednesday. Those of you getting the replay or whatever day it is, it's affirmation, whatever day it is for you. All right. So if you got your affirmations, you got to memorize or whatever it is you're doing, let's get this in and out the way so we can continue on with our day, our evening, our afternoon, or whatever day it is for you. Are you ready? Here we go. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stress-less day. Today, I will overcome all barriers that want to block my progress. Today, all circumstances, issues, and situations will work in my favor. Today, all things will line up for my good. Today, I will become better than who and what I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I am an overcomer. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day. I will conquer this day. And everything I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get it popping. So today we are back into our marriage and business series. And if you guys have been paying attention, which I'm sure you have, we had Gary and Monica Dudley on our first interview podcast. And then we are now in our second interview and conversation with a lovely couple today who is doing some amazing things in a number of areas of their business. I'm going to let them kind of elaborate on that and introduce them properly to the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast, Aaron and Kylene Montgomery. Welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Great to be here.
Yes, awesome stuff. So, real quick before I let them kind of tell them about themselves and give a little background, I met Aaron about 5 years ago, I'll say.
Yep.
At a t-shirt conference. For those of you who don't know, t-shirt conferences do exist. Okay.
Or did.
There's a conference for everything. All right. And since then, we have just been back and forth, emailing each other, bouncing ideas off of each other. I've asked him for advice on things. And so it's been a great relationship via, email and social media. Since then, he's about halfway across the country from where I am. And I've watched what he's done. And it's an honor to have him and his wife, who I'm meeting for the first time virtually, what to do. So Aaron and Kylene, however you guys want to do it, just let everyone know who you guys are, what you do, a little bit of your background and stuff of that nature.
Yeah. Well, I'm Kylene. We're in the St. Louis area, and we have a decorating business. So we also do t-shirts and fulfillment for other businesses, along with teaching the success principles, the mindset part, and yoga. So that's a little bit on my side of things, what I do. Our businesses overlap, so Aaron can kind of elaborate there.
Sure. Yeah. As Kylene was mentioning, we do a lot with the success principles. That is a book actually by a gentleman named Jack Canfield. If people aren't aware, he is a New York Times bestseller. Might know him from a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul, was his big breakthrough area. But he's been a success coach for his entire career. I think it's about 40 years now, he said. And both Kylene and I are certified in those principles to be able to teach and share those principles. And so we've kind of built our businesses around those. As TK said, we are doing lots of different things, but Kylene talked about the decorating. I've been in the decorating business for about 22 years now in lots of different spaces and places. And last January of 2020, I started a company called Our Success Group, where we do business training, and we have mastermind programs and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So that's my main focus. And I just love, getting to meet people like TK. He said he reached out to me for advice, but it goes both ways. I've gotten lots of great information from him. I actually am just realizing I should have wore the shirts. Some of my favorite shirts I got from him. So it's just a really cool industry of really wonderful people. And so I'm excited to be a part of training that industry now.
Awesome stuff. So tell everyone what the name of your business is, so they kind of know what you guys are doing there.
Yeah, it's Our Success Group is where you can find us. It's just oursuccessgroup.com. Kylene, you can see behind her, she's got weheart.biz there. And that's her apparel business. Like I said, there's a lot of overlap there. So as people need help with things, we do wholesale fulfillment and some stuff like that. But the main focus for us is just kind of fulfilling the mission of providing actionable resources and helping people where we can. Kylene mentioned just briefly that she is a yoga instructor. And so just, wherever we can fit in, we try to find programs and resources that help other businesses. And it brings a ton of fulfillment to us.
Yep.
Awesome stuff. So we're going to literally just dive right in to this conversation here. So let's talk number one. So all of you know we're doing a marriage and business. So Aaron and Kylene, of course, are married. And so we're talking about the aspects of marriage and business and how they intertwine, but at the same time, how they may be separate. So let's ask the first question is how to work in business and in personal life. So how is it working together as a business, the things intertwine, and then how do you use that or do that in your personal lives? How do you separate the two when you're working together? Because you're probably seeing a lot of each other every day, and we know that Aaron said a lot. He said it very low too. So how do you guys work that in your marriage and in your business?
Well, I think it definitely starts with a good foundation in general with your marriage. Before you would even entertain the business side of things, because that definitely changed things for sure when we started together doing this. But it really comes down to communication and being able to talk about each other's needs. And I don't know, Aaron, if you want to elaborate a little bit on the communication part, but we really started out understanding each other's strengths. And then from there, we had some language, I guess, to use, or just some understanding of each other's skill sets. And we were able to kind of, I don't know, not create boundaries a little bit, but create roles for each other. Is that?
Yeah, I think that Kylene's saying communication. I think that's key. We got married later on in our lives, and so I think that was a real blessing for us. I'm way smarter now, so there's a chance that she's going to keep me around, right? I stop before I say all the dumb things now. But yeah, it really does come down to that communication and just being able to, like Kylene said, it's not really boundaries. But there's a certain point where, we've got to understand that we're different. We're after different things. We have to be able to say, hey, this is not okay. Or, hey, we need to do more of this. Or, hey, I need you to do this better for me. And that does become difficult to separate that personal life from the business life, because that communication is kind of across the board. I think the other part about it is that we both know that at the end of the day, no matter where we're coming from, no matter what we've said, or no matter what we've done, that at the end of the day, it's about each other's well-being. And So along with having all that communication for a period of time before we got into being in business together, we also were able to kind of build a certain level of trust that, I may push Kylene harder than maybe she's ready for at that point, or she may, kind of do something that I don't really understand. But at the end of the day, when we trust each other, I think it really helps make, we talked about how much time we spend together, and it really is all the time. We work at home together. We, do lots of family activities together. So there's not a whole lot of alone time, but we just figure it out, and we allow each other to have our own space and interests because we trust each other, and we know that we're both trying to support where each of us wants to get in our lives. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the space thing was definitely important. We learned that the hard way. We tried to share an office at first, and
as you can see, we're in two different rooms right now.
It's definitely nice to have our own space and our own quiet time, and I think that was definitely an adjustment, just having so much time together. But the communication, the trust, the understanding that we're both going towards the same place instead of two different paths has been really helpful.
Yeah, so me and my wife, we actually had that same, I wouldn't say issue, but that same circumstance where our previous house, because our business is home based, so everything, the entire basement was business. So it was one big room, and then behind that was the laundry room. So it was music, video, and then you step over 2 feet, and there's all the apparel stuff. So now we've moved since. So now as you can see, I have my own space now.
Yes.
And so she has her own space somewhere else. And so now I understand where you guys are coming from talking about that. Do you got anything yet?
Yeah, I got a question. So is your guys' life integrated into business, or is there like a clocking out point? Like, okay, we're done. Back to being married and family, or is like business all intertwined into that?
Who are you asking?
Whoever wants to go.
No, I'm just kidding. Bad joke.
So I had a 9 to 5, if you will, before doing this. And so for me, it took me a while to kind of let go of that mindset. Now, Aaron does not have that mindset. It's all intertwined, and that's okay. I love that this is all a part of our life. We include our son in all of this as much as we can. So yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. And like Kylene said, she's much better at the, kind of clocking out, so to speak, and not in a negative way. I mean, it's totally necessary because I'll burn myself out. And so actually having that balance from her has been really helpful for me personally. But I think when you have, we've been really fortunate that through the success principles and both of our interests in self-development, that we do have this kind of common language that we can use to kind of move through anything. And, so with that, then we're able to say, okay, I need to do this. I mean, I'm kind of the night owl, right? We're sitting here at 6:15 our time here, and I'm going, okay, what do I have for the next 4 hours of the night, 5 hours of the night that I'm going to do yet? Where, Kylene's ready to kind of start winding down, but then she's up early. And so it's just kind of finding that balance. But I guess the other part about, for me, being in business, and I think Kylene will feel the same way, is that we're not, I don't know, we love what we do so much, and we get so excited about it that it kind of just all kind of runs together. So working with success principles, I also coach volleyball, and we talk about success principles in volleyball, and it all feels like it's one big kind of happy family. So I guess that's, to me, if you're struggling with that, try to find something that has that passion level for you, that it doesn't feel like work, so you don't have to feel like you're clocking out. There's no need to if you're not, if it doesn't feel like work.
That's good.
So you guys mentioned children in your conversation. So how do you guys do the children work in the business? Are they being groomed to take over? And then of course, like, what are their ages? So we kind of know like what kind of are they under 10? Are they over 10? Are they young adults? Where are we at there?
Our son is Lewis, and he is 10. So he helps with, little things. He's done the trash. He does all the recycling for us, and he does some packing and shipping every now and then. And then, he'll practice the yoga with us, and he'll hear us practice when we talk about the success principles and all of that. So, yeah, I don't know if he's necessarily ready to dive all in with us.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He's
Um,
not. I don't think he's being groomed necessarily, but it is pretty shocking that you feel like at kids at these ages they're in front of the YouTube or whatever it is that they're
Yeah.
doing at the time, and you're going, okay, they have no clue, and then all of a sudden, a week later, he brings up some bit of wisdom that he thought he heard, and like, Dad, don't forget, you got to do so and so, and I'm like, whoa, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty crazy. So and so he's not necessarily actively involved with us, but he understands it, and he gets when we have to kind of make those shifts in our life. Yeah, we can't go play all day today, but we also then try to make sure that we incorporate enough of the other side of that, so he's not feeling like it's mom and dad are working all the time. And then just to support, kind of trying to understand what his passions are and support him in that, and help him understand that as he continues to grow, what's the path, how do you set goals, how do you do all of these things. So I actually have an older son from a previous marriage who is Kylene, 22 now.
22, yeah.
That time flies when you're having fun. And he lives in Phoenix, and he is on the autism spectrum, and he's actually creating a comic book right now.
Oh, wow.
and just totally into and great at drawing and stuff like that. And so
Nice.
I've actually had an opportunity to talk with him about, okay, where do you see this going? Can I help you with merch or something like that? Right. And he's open to it. So, any way you can integrate the people that are important into your life into the things that you're passionate about, I don't think you can lose with that.
Gotcha. So a follow-up question with that. So working together, is there a CEO, a COO, a CFO? Are there multiple hats worn? Or is there like, hey, I am the boss, you're the employee, I need you to do X, Y, D and get this done. And then when it's time for, marriage and I love you, baby, it's like, does that translate over? Or is like, so speak to couples who are struggling with,
Right.
I'm in charge,
Right.
you're the employee. And then when this is over, we can go back to being married. Speak to that.
Yeah, sure.
Aaron, I'll let you start this one.
Sure. No, absolutely. Probably can just see a little bit from our personality. Kylene has this just amazing ability to be a listener, compassionate, caring, understanding, but a little more demure, where, as you can probably tell, I will jump in wherever, and I don't really see those boundaries all the time. So there is some of that just kind of naturally happens. And I think what we've actually struggled with is not so much kind of it being this boss employee relationship, but there are times where I'm kind of like going, hey, I know I always just take over everything and wear the CEO hat, so to speak, but I really could use a partner. I really could, I'm just overwhelmed. I can't make all the decisions right now, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so that's really become a little bit more of it for us. I think the most important thing that people can do, and Kylene will probably be able to elaborate on this even better than I can here, is to go back to what we talked about with the communication part and have that opportunity to really say, okay, what are the things that you like to do? What are the things that we need to get done that you would be better at than I would be, and vice versa? And then how do we best support each other in that? So it's not like Kylene's always doing this and I'm always doing this, but at the end of the day, there's got to be responsibilities of, okay, Kylene, you're in charge of this. If you need help with that, you've got to talk to me, and vice versa. So Kylene, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think it's just being clear on what your role is in the partnership, if you will, and then communicating what you want. So if work is, or your business is not something you want to really bleed into that personal life that you have, you have to express that to your partner and let them know that that's not something that you want. You really want to leave work at home when you go out on date night, and that kind of just establishing, that, like Aaron said at the beginning, the trust with that person. I think when we first started, one of the things that I was doing, I was internalizing a lot, because I felt like I was maybe disappointing him, and because I was viewing myself as the employee, not necessarily the partner, and asking for help and those kinds of things. Like, it does take a while to adjust, and so I think people just need to be open about communicating how they're feeling with their spouse, and then they can work through it and make a plan. Aaron and I have had tons of really tough conversations about this throughout the 2.5 years now.
But we always come out better for
Yeah,
it on the other
for
end. So,
sure. Yep.
you've got to just face those tough conversations and dig right in and be open to it. Kylene said the part about, you've got to communicate and what your expectations are, because just because we're in love and we're on the same page and we have all that doesn't mean either of us are mind readers. Right. So it's my responsibility to say, Kylene, I need this from you. I can't just go, oh, she loves me, she should know that. That's baloney. If I need it, I've got to say it. So it just comes back to that trust, and then taking responsibility for your needs and emotions, and kind of being able to work through that.
And again, I think you guys said in the very beginning, communication.
Yeah.
Very key. Like, you got to talk. You got to have those conversations. Communication just very highly key in any relationship, whether it's business, marriage, parenting, anything like that. So that's huge. Yeah. And then a side note, taking responsibility. That's also one of our shirts we have too. I'm just throwing that in there. That's
nice. I love it.
Oh, you got another question?
I've been asking every couple. I got to ask these two.
Okay.
Is marriage a business decision?
Ooh. Wow.
Kylene, you want that one, right? The deep dive question.
I like it.
Yeah.
Kylene, you want that one first?
I do. I mean, I don't know. It's not really a business decision. Makes it sound like
like it's just
like a
same
bad
couple
thing.
said the same thing last time.
But at the same time, you do have to evaluate if it meets your needs. Not everyone wants to be married, and not everyone wants that type of life. So I guess in a way you analyze it and you you make that choice, right? With the goals that you have for your life. And if you're fortunate enough to meet someone that you do want to spend your life with, if that's your goal, then awesome. But I don't know, Aaron, you take it. I'm sure you have a different.
No, I think you got it exactly right. As I mentioned earlier, we did get married later on in our lives, and I've come out of a previous marriage. It wasn't a terrible marriage. It just wasn't the right place or time for either of us. And in fact, we get along better now. Kylene's friends with them. It's it's all good. But when you talk about it being a business decision, I guess for us, as you probably can see, we kind of blend everything in our lives together into one big kind of giant, what is my ultimate goal? And then the business is part of that. We kind of break things down into about 5 major categories of our lives. And in fact, one of the communication things that we do is every month we go through those things and we rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 together. And we've both done this ahead of time, and then we share with each other. And I don't, Kylene, you can hit me later, but this last time we do that at the beginning of every month. And this last month, we were going through, and one of those areas is love and partnership and that kind of thing. And I had my score lower. I had a 7 because I was feeling a little bit disconnected. And that just opened up the conversation. Was it an easy conversation to have? No, we both had different times where our feelings were a little bit hurt, but we knew we're growing together. And so I guess when you kind of look at it as a business decision, I think you're kind of maybe taken away a little bit from what marriage is all about. But at the same time, everything should be probably looked at like it. If you're just going and clocking into work, then what's important, right? And with that, what's important is to bring home the money to pay for things. But if you have a business of your own, there's a reason outside of just having a business for yourself and having money that you've started that business. There's something a little bit deeper than that. And I think that's kind of where marriage comes into this, there's something a little bit deeper, right? We could date, but having somebody that you know is there for you that you can trust for the rest of your life is a really special experience. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just elaborate real quick. So Fat Dad Wholesale on YouTube, he said, quote, "We had to sign paperwork to get married, so I would have to say yes." So
there you go, Todd.
and I think too I think when you factor that in, there is some business aspect to it.
Sure.
But again, like Aaron said, if you're going into and you're clocking in and clocking out, it's like you don't clock in and clock out of a marriage.
Yeah.
Like you just don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't clock in and clock out of being a father or a mother.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but it's not going to be very beneficial for you. And I think too, we're always coming from, we talked in the introduction and the groundwork we laid for this series was there are families who make business decisions when it comes to marriage. Like, okay, you're going to marry this person because this is going to be good for the family.
Yeah.
Whether you're in royalty or it's just you have a business, the family, and they make those decisions.
Yeah.
On top of that, there are some who sign prenups initially because it's like, okay, and I've had an issue with prenups and I understand them, and I'm not knocking them. It's just kind of like, so you're just going to kind of say like, if this doesn't work out, it's what's going to happen. Like, are you anticipating this is going to happen? But I also get when there's a lot of things involved, you kind of have to have that business hat on to say, well, if this happens, I'm kind of writing the end from the beginning. And I get that, but I totally agree with you guys are saying that, you know, you have to be all in or not. Just that simple.
Yep.
So last question I'm going to ask for you guys, and this is another, it's a big one, but not as deep as that one. So does it matter who brings home the bacon?
That's a good question.
Really good question.
And it doesn't matter how much of who's bringing home that bacon.
How much bacon, huh?
Everybody loves bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kylene?
I would say absolutely not. As long as we are in partnership and have the same goals, I don't have expectations that Aaron has to be the breadwinner in our family. You know, I just think as long as we are on the same page with what we're doing, so each person feels like they're contributing in whatever way and it's valued the same, I think it doesn't matter which one of us is bringing in more money, in my opinion.
Yeah. And we have had that experience in our marriage. Kylene was making more money than me for a while, and that wasn't. So I agree with Kylene. It just doesn't matter. Now I will also cop to the fact that it took me a while to get to that. You know, the masculinity, the whole I've got to be the guy that brings in the money, and you know, I'm not providing if I don't. I dealt with that, and I think it's important to deal with it. I think it's something that if you are having those feelings, there's something deeper there. There's some worth that you're putting on that paycheck that has nothing to do with that paycheck. It has to do with something deeper so we all have these things that have been kind of ingrained or programmed into us, so to speak, and it wasn't like somebody maliciously was going to put all these negative limiting beliefs into our systems, but it's just what happens. I mean, it's just, you know, an experience happens, somebody trying to protect you brings on something that, and so I think going back and really kind of diving into that and understanding that and just giving yourself some space to process, why is it that my little guy emotions get hurt when my wife's paycheck is bigger than mine? And so I would suggest any guys or anybody that's feeling that way, guys or girls that are listening to this, that are feeling that way, that maybe you want to explore that a little bit more, because money is nothing more than just, you know, a means to an end. And so if it's kind of checking a box a little bit bigger than maybe it should, then I think it's worth exploring that. So.
Those are very
good stuff.
Good answers.
Good stuff.
Very good answers. So,
man, you guys had some good ones though.
So, but before we kind of, you know, wrap this up a little bit, is there any other questions you want to ask? Any other insights you want them to answer?
Yeah, no, we good. They did a great job. Thank y'all for coming. It was a blessing to me. So
now I will say this before we wrap up, it just in general, like Aaron and Kylene, just in general, what do you want to say to those who are watching or listening as far as their marriage and their business? Any last words you want to leave with people?
Well, I would just say have the tough conversations and have them before, if you're not in an existing business together, have them before you make that decision to go into business together. Really make sure you have a good, strong foundation, because having your own business is definitely a roller coaster with lots of ups and downs. And if those moments that are really extra challenging, you don't have that good foundation going into it, it will filter into your marriage. And you just have to really communicate and have that strong foundation.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. I think the other thing that stood out to me, and I kind of mentioned it, but just want to make sure that everybody hears this part, and mainly because I had to work so hard to kind of get to this, was don't be afraid to say what it is that you need. Again, we kind of get comfortable in the fact that we have a marriage and a relationship and we're in love, and you've got all of that kind of feelings and emotion there that just kind of gets you into this comfort zone. And I found way too many times I was saying to myself, well, if she really loved me, she would know that I needed this right now. Right. And that just is not going to serve anybody and just put you in a really bad spot. So a lot of those conversations were about that, getting over that. Right. She can't read my mind. I can't read her mind. And that's okay. So just getting back to the communicating and having those hard conversations, but being okay, sharing what it is that you need. Both parties need to be able to do that without judgment. And I think that's what makes a good partnership, a good business, a good marriage, good life, really.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. So, Aaron and Kylene, thank you so much for joining us today and for dropping knowledge on people. I hope you guys took your notebook and your tablet and iPad, whatever you take notes out on, and wrote some stuff down, because they had some really good things to say about marriage and business. And we are honored to have people who can come on here and give you guys insights, especially in their industries and in life in general, to help us become better at what we're doing. And marriage is a big thing. I mean, it's huge. It is a commitment and between two people. And honestly, when we were putting this series together, one thing that I said was that, and feel free to elaborate if you guys want to, is that your marriage partnership should outlast your business partnership.
Yeah.
Because that's the lifetime commitment that you made in front of the Almighty.
Yep.
And everybody who came to your wedding.
Yep.
And the thing, like Aaron said, he's coming out of a previous one. He's like, it just wasn't the right time, wasn't right. So I mean, you may make a mistake or things may happen. And now we also know that all things work together for the good, no matter what. Yep. But again, you don't want to let the work in the business outlast your marriage. Now, of course, once we've gone and passed from this life, the business can continue on, but that should be the secondary thing, not the main thing. So,
Agreed.
Agree. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate you. Hopefully, this is not the last time we have you guys on. Aaron, thank you for just everything you do, just the advice you've given me. And, I see things from afar. I may not say much, but, I see what you're doing. I see you. I got you.
I know you do. And I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I appreciate that you guys are putting this together. I think this is huge and really valuable. And so we appreciate being a part of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So for all of us here at the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast, join us next week. We will have a special guest, Mr. Ali Madawi will be with us. It will be a solo act. His wife won't be with him, but he will be speaking to us and dropping some knowledge. I'm going to put this one plug in. I call him a genius because he is. He's very humble, though. Very humble. So make sure you tune in next Wednesday, 7 p.m. with Mr. Ali Madawi. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Kylene. We will see you guys.
Thank you, guys.
All of you here. Until next time, I'll holla. Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time. Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.